Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm really excited for this one because I have some new suspension goodies for the Sundae Cup Fit. Just make it a little bit nicer. Shut up. So for the most part, this has been a very cheap, budget-friendly build. You can replicate this car for, I don't know, $4,000 at most, probably. You know, most of the mods I've done to it have been very inexpensive, affordable, easy to do. But for the suspension, I'm not gonna half-ass it or go cheap on it. Since I do compete in this car, I want it to stay competitive, so I went with something a little bit more higher quality, more expensive. That's gonna make this thing go a little faster. So I picked up a set of Fortunato 510s. Pretty nice. It's almost too nice for this shit box, you know. So this car currently has some eBay lowering springs on it, which I already had when I got the car, which honestly hasn't been that bad. The car still handles pretty well and it's been somewhat competitive. It's definitely not top of the pack in the series, but she hangs. Definitely not enough to podium, but that's why I got these. Maybe you can push me over that edge so I can hang with the top guys a little easier. So let's go check them out. Disclaimer, this is a used set, but they're not that old. I think they were built a few months ago. They only have a few events on them. Came from a fellow Sundae Cup driver. So we got a good deal on them. And let's check them out. I haven't even opened the box yet and pulled them out. So let's get them out and see what we got. These are the 510s, which is kind of like the mid-grade for Fortunatos. 500s being like the more entry-level street, sometimes track-driven Coilovers, but still really good. These are a little bit better, mainly meant for track use in some street. So the piston valving is more catered to a track-oriented Coilover, very advanced, high flowing, a lot of adjustability in it, and these are rebuildable. So if I messed one up, you can piece it together, so I don't have to buy a whole new thing if I want to. Or you can also upgrade these. So if I want to upgrade these to the 2-ways that has an additional canister, you can do that if you want. And like most coils, you set your ride height with the collar heel. Tighten this, set your preload with this collar, and your dampening up here, just a little knob. With these, set your ride height with this little guy, screw it up and down. It also comes with front sway bar links, adjustable ones. That way if you slam it, you can fix your length. These do have 14K spring rates on front and back. I'll probably eventually go down to a 12 on the wheel. It's kind of recommended to me, but I'll try these out and see how they feel, see how I like them. Now let's get this guy out of here. It's not about you today. Get out. Okay, the fit is inside the garage, and like most projects, I need to jack this thing up, take the tires off. I'm going to start in the front, do the front suspension, get it all settled and done. Then I'll probably just turn the car around and back it in to do the wheel. That way I have more light and you guys can see it a little better. But before we get too far along, I do want to talk about the top hats. Unfortunately, this kit does not come with a adjustable camber plates, which is pretty common on a lot of higher end coilover sets. It's mainly due to the way the fit top hat is designed. It doesn't have the traditional plate with bolts coming through the towel. This has essentially this big rubber grommet and a bolt that holds it in, which makes camber plates a little bit more complicated, but people do make them. But it does require a lot more modifications. For example, you have to cut this down, so you have to cut into your body and drill holes for the bolts. So, also Fortunato has a set where you don't have to do that, but it's only for currently for the 2nd gen fit, and this is the 1st gen, and I don't know if they plan on making them for this car or not. More likely I will end up going with the plates, just not now. When I get these in and driving, then I'll start working on getting camber caster plates together, because it would be nice to have additional adjustment. But for now, these will do. Okay, wheels off. Let's see what we're working with. Here's what I'm currently have with these red lowering springs. Like, I assume they're eBay springs. I don't see any names or anything on them. I haven't pulled them out. So what I'm about to. In order to take these out, you need to disconnect your sway bar link, this long guy. I'm going to take it out because I don't need it anymore. So I'm going to replace it. Disconnect your caliber brake line from the strut, and these 2 big bolts to hold the strut to the spindle, and of course the big nut up there. Okay, I got my old strut out. It wasn't too bad. One thing to note and kind of watch out for is you don't want this spindle to come out too far, because you'll just dislocate the bearings inside your drive shaft. You'll pull them out, and you might have to work this back and forth to get it to line back up again. So don't destroy your axle trying to do this. That's why I have a slow bungee so it doesn't come too far out. Now you want to start building up your new struts. So you're going to need some few things from this guy, like this setup. Take this guy off. I'm going to take this nut off. The rest of it you don't need anymore. Get it out of the way. Now we start building up the new one. Just keep in mind the stack up order. It's going to be the spring. There's a little rubber gasket seal here. This goes on top of the gasket, on top of the spring. Take this bearing. Not sure what these things are called. Slide it in. Take your jam nut, run it down, zap it down, but use both hands. Then put this big rubber guy on there, and that's your assembly. Till you push it into the coil, that's going to go on top with this washer and nut. But before I do that, I want to set the preload, because right now there's a little bit of play in it. So I need to adjust this collar. I'm going to do a 0 preload on it. Okay, to set the preload, which I'm not going to go super duper deep into detail. See how there's a little bit of play in it? I want to get rid of that slop. Make sure this is loose, this collar. There's an Allen key here. Loosen it up. What you want to do is tighten this up until, and once all play is gone, just up and down with the spring, you want to turn it just a little bit more, then tighten this. Okay, I have it locked down and tight so it's not going to go anywhere. This is for your sway ball link. Right now I have it just loose so I can adjust it and put it where I want. The height adjustment portion is kind of a trial and error thing. You have to put it on, see if you like it, adjust, drop the collar back down, adjust, see where you like it. So that portion can take a while. I'm just going to leave it how it is and see how the previous owner had it. See if I like it at his level, at his height. Okay, even though this strut is done, I'm going to go ahead and pull that side, because I want to build the opposite side one up, which I need the pieces from that strut to build that one up. That way I can compare the two and measure, because I want my adjustments to be identical as possible between my preload and my height adjustment. So I'll go ahead and pull that one, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, got my other strut built up. As you can see, these are not even. You see my bubble up here? This one's taller than this one. So I'm gonna adjust the ride height. I'm gonna probably take this one up to match this one. What I was doing a second ago, I was using this to measure my preload, see if I got my preload the same on both sides. It's not going to be 100% perfect, but it should get you very close in the ballpark. You probably won't notice it. And it honestly wouldn't be a bad idea to get this thing corner balanced anyway, which is they're gonna adjust that. So eventually I probably will do that, get the quarter balance. That way she's riding as good as she can. Another good thing about these coilovers is the top mounting bolt here is, you see it's kind of ovaled out where this one's round. That is to get you camber. See how this one, it slides back and forth. On my old setup I had a camber bolt, and these like to move around on you. It's also a lot smaller. So now I can put my stock bolt in here, and hopefully my camber stays where I want it to be. Now let's put them back on. These things are kind of heavy. Okay, I got everything back together. Got both my 19 mils tightened. I installed the sway ball link. I am probably gonna have to adjust it, so I'm gonna when I'm all done and put it on level ground and see how it looks, then I might have to adjust that later. Also the white height. Just looking at it, it might be a little too low. I won't really know until I get both sides done and the car on the ground. And I got this bolt tightened up, so it's good to go. Now I can do this all over again with the other side. Ooh. Hey, I got this side on, everything's connected, tight. But now for the kind of sucky part is I can put the wheels back on, put it on the ground, see where she sits, see what adjustments I have to make. That's one of the things you gotta do for coilovers. It's kind of annoying. If it's too low, I'm gonna have to disconnect those two bolts, spin the bottom mount to raise it up, then put it back together. So I guess I'll do that. Okay, I finished the fronts, did a quick little drive around the neighborhood. There was no rubbing, even though it's pretty low. A little bit lower than I was expecting. Screw it, I'll probably leave it, you know, as long as it's not scraping or anything, which this car always scraped to begin with, when mostly just in the wheel. The wheel rubs, even though I rolled the fenders, it still rubs, mostly due to the tiles are a little too big for this car. So yeah, front's pretty good, drove pretty good. Now I gotta work on the wheel. I will admit this is my first time doing divorced coilovers. I've done divorced springs, but not coilovers. So it might take me a minute to figure out how to do the just preload, height, and get everything perfect. So pull it in, get started on it. The fit is back in the garage, so we can start working on the wheel. Now let's jack it up. As you see, I got the wheel jacked up. I got my tires off, and this should be pretty straightforward to take apart. What you gotta do is take this bolt out of your shock on the bottom. I believe it's 14 to go in top, and take that one on from the top. It's very accessible, plenty of room to work, and the spring pokes should just fall right out. Okay, the wheels are off. That was super easy to do. But before you toss these, you're going to need this little rubber grommet from the top of this to go here, like that. I'm not sure what's be easier to put in first, the springs or the shocks. I guess I'll go ahead and try the springs. I'm just going to leave it to where it already was. But before I put these in, I'm going to check it like I did the other, the front. See if these two are the same. See my collars are level. I know the bubble looks like it's on going to the left a little bit. That's because the workbench itself isn't 100% level. So yeah, they're the same. Okay, you want to set your spring assembly in here. Make sure you have your rubber piece on top. Then there's also another rubber piece between this blue thing and the spring. And you want to use your jack to jack this arm up till this sits uphill. But before you get to the very top, make sure your opposite spring is and approach setup is also in there. And now this can go all the way up. Don't compress the spring. You essentially want to get it to where it just touches. So this assembly just sits in there. I essentially got it in there to where it's not flopping around. That has some tension on it. That way it doesn't move when the suspension is at full droop. Next, we can put the shock in. I don't know these all difference between left and right. Like about the same. Make sure you have your rubber grommet on it before you stick through the hole. There should also be a rubber grommet on the top side. Okay, I got my shock just hanging, bolted in the top. And you want to get this hole to line up at this hole. You don't want to use a jack to make it line up. What you want to do, you want to adjust this to line up with the hole so it's a slip fit. So this slips in and out of it pretty easy. So I gotta undo that collar and raise this up some. Okay, I got the strut adjusted so that just kind of goes in pretty easy. Then just screw that down. I gotta do the other side. Okay, both of the wheels are done. Wasn't too bad, pretty easy to do. Really won't take you too long if you know what you're doing. And now what's left is throw the tires back on, see where she sits, see if they have to make any height adjustment, and take it for a test drive. Hey, the Coilover install is done. It was a success. Did some driving around. I did some tweaking of suspension, kind of trying to get it where I want it for now. Did some more adjustment on the sway bars. I think I had a little too stiff at first. Did you help me? No, you just sat and watched. Look at that. Anyway, yeah, the car handled great. The car is a little, well, not a little, it's a lot stiffer and has a little bit bouncier, not like annoyingly bouncy. It's definitely taken its daily drivability down a notch since these are meant for primary track use and a little bit street use. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit more street use with a little bit of track use, I would go with the 500s. And if you're serious about dropping lap times and being competitive, these are what you want. This or the two ways. Even though it's pretty low, I'm filling the gap a lot. It really doesn't rub. Like, it rubs significantly less than what it did before, because the old suspension was like very soft springs, and who knows how old those shocks were. I'm pretty sure they were original to the car. So this car had a lot of body roll, and the rears would rub really bad. Now they're not rubbing at all, unless I hit like a really large dip bump in the road, and the fronts will rub just a little bit, but not enough to really care really. My track wheels and tires are smaller than these. These are a little bit oversized for this car. So my track wheels I shouldn't have any issues at all with. I probably put about 40 miles or so on these today. Most of that was back roads and stuff, and car felt great, very planted. I can already tell that the wheel is a little bit more happy, wanted to step out a little bit more. So hopefully that will help out on track, getting around tiny corners. So yeah, I can't wait to try it out at speed. Which this coming weekend I'm taking the car to Mid-Pond, which is a small track outside of Birmingham, Alabama. It's a go-kart track. If you've never seen it or been to it, definitely check it out. It's a really cool place. I think it's a very fitting track for this car. Also a big special thanks, big shout out to Eric for selling me the Coilovers. I will put them to good use, and I'm sure I'll get a lot of enjoyment out of them. But I hope you enjoyed the video, hope you got a lot out of it, and if you plan on going with these Coilovers, hit me up, let me know in the comments, let me know if you need anything, and don't forget to subscribe. I plan on having other fit content coming out, so come back for those, and I'll see you soon, because this weekend I'm going to the track, which means I'm probably going to record it. So I'll see you then. Peace out.